Open till midnight Thursdays and 1 a.m. Fridays and Saturdays. Burger King. Have it your way.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 21st day of May, 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, like Miss Celine Mackin, who celebrated her birthday 3 days ago on the 18th of May. We certainly want to give you, for the record, birthday shout-outs right here on For the Record. So if you celebrating one today, or if you celebrated one over the past few days as well, those of you who have lost loved ones, we certainly want to extend our sincerest condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands, we want to wish you a speedy recovery. And again, we want to give a big shout out to our two colleagues here at Radio Cayman, DJ Lynn and Mr. Joel Wilson, wishing them a speedy recovery and letting them know that our prayers are always with them as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I have the distinct privilege and pleasure of being your host, and you're welcome to share in the conversation Let us know your concerns. Give us some happy news whenever possible as well. And of course, you can join us by calling in on our toll-free number, which is provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. And, of course, when you call, you will hear that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls as well. So we want to remind you that at 8:15 this morning, we will have the opposition in the studio with us in the form of the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Kenneth Bryan, and his colleagues will be on from 8:15. Meanwhile, let's look at the birthday greetings. So we see that Selfida Watson celebrated, that was on the 15th. That was on the 15th of May. Gone too far ahead. Let's look a little closer to today. Della Watler Marte celebrating her birthday today, Miss Della J. Watler Marte. Also, Bobba Burns celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday going out to Bobba Burns as well. Yasmini Virginia Castillo celebrated a birthday yesterday. We also see that Mr. Kamal Connolly, O'Connor Connolly, celebrating his birthday today. Oh, sorry. Okay, yes. One name that I called earlier, that person, it's showing up on Facebook, but that person has unfortunately passed on. So we apologize for that. And if that person were alive, they would have been celebrating their birthday yesterday. Sometimes Facebooks are not updated after a person's unfortunate passing, and we apologize for mentioning that name. So Kamal celebrating his birthday today as well. I want to wish Kamal a happy birthday. Let's look at some other shout-outs here that we want to share with you today as well. So we're going to start with the fact that the first Caymanian Auditor General has been appointed. This was a CIG release, public relations release yesterday. Patrick Smith, first Caymanian Auditor General appointed. I was wondering when that would happen. We know, for instance, one of our sister overseas territory, Auditor General in Bermuda is a Bermudan, and I would venture to say in all of the, at least, Caribbean overseas territories, their Auditor Generals are all local as well. So the release reads that Mr. Patrick Smith, who has been the Deputy Auditor General with remit for corporate and international affairs, has been appointed as the country's new Auditor General effective the 1st of June. He's the first Caymanian to hold this position. His appointment follows a rigorous recruitment drive which ran locally and internationally for the highly specialized post. The recruitment panel was chaired by Her Excellency Governor Jane Owen and comprised distinguished individuals from Cayman's private sector and from senior auditing and leadership roles in the United Kingdom and Jamaica. Mr. Smith replaces Sue Winspear, who departed the office in March of this year following the completion of her term. In welcoming Mr. Smith's appointment, Governor Owen stated, and I quote, "This is a vital role which reinforces Cayman's ongoing commitment to good governance and sound financial practices across our public sector. I am confident that Patrick will bring continuity based on his experience, but also a fresh approach to strategy and the challenges of the future." That's the quote coming from Governor Jane Owen. So again, we want to say congratulations to Mr. Patrick Smith on his appointment as Cayman's next Auditor General. He will commence his appointment on the 1st of June, and I am sure that he will be ably supported by all of the staff in the Auditor General's, office as well. And we know that they are continuously busy performing the various audits of the all of the government entities, as well. And we certainly wish Mr. Patrick Smith all the best as the new Auditor General of the Cayman Islands. What else is happening in government? We see that there will be a Customer Appreciation Day at the Department of Vehicle and Driver's License on Wednesday, the 28th. That's next week, Wednesday, the 28th of May, 2025. The Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing will be hosting their annual Customer Appreciation Day at all its locations on Wednesday, the 28th of May. The event kicks off at their Crew Road location from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and at the Breakers and West Bay locations from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. They would like the public to stop by and join them in celebrating. Engaging with customers will be done by customer service representatives and other staff members. The event will also be used to promote the various service options available at DVDL. For instance, online services, the customer support unit, mailing out driver's licenses renewals, as well as online forms that are available. Customers conducting transactions throughout the day will receive giveaways and light refreshments. So, let's give you a little bit of information about the ministry under which the Department of Drivers License, Drivers and DVDL. Let's put it that way. The Department of DVDL, Department of Vehicle and Drivers Licensing. They fall under the ministry of the Honorable Minister Joanna J. Ebanks. It is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life and economic prosperity of the Cayman Islands through comprehensive planning, smart land use and port management, sustainable agriculture, efficient housing solutions, and critical infrastructure development. Their mission is to create a resilient and thriving future for all residents and visitors. And if you want to know about the Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing, under the Traffic Act, the Department of Vehicle and Driver's License in the Cayman Islands was established to assume a comprehensive range of responsibilities. These include inspecting and testing vehicles, registering motor vehicles, maintaining the register register, issuing licenses for both vehicles and drivers, conducting driving tests, and fulfilling other functions assigned periodically. I'm going to just pick on one, conducting driving tests. I think those tests need to be much more rigorous when we look at the quality of driving that we see on our roads, especially from new drivers as well. With that, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we do have a caller on hold. We will take that caller, so please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Clara Eden, Certificate of Honor, 1870 through 1969. Nurse Clara Eden was an extremely loyal and faithful midwife who traveled to all outer districts to deliver babies. She apparently had a record of the babies she delivered, along with the names of their parents in her first house, which burned down. At that time, she confirmed that she had delivered 1,500 babies, and when she retired, she estimated she had delivered 2,000. She took excellent care of both mother and baby for 9 days at the cost of £2. Nurse Clara was a faithful member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. She was the only person in Grand Cayman who knew how to do starbread handwork, and in her spare time, she taught a few people how to do it.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a business that offers an authentic Caymanian product and service and shares the magic of these islands? With the Visitor Experience Development Grant, you could get up to $50,000 to bring your idea to life. From wellness to tech, cultural workshops to food experiences, the opportunity is yours. Applications open from April 15th to May 30th. Take the first step. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP today to find out more.
Ready for some real magic this summer? Coca-Cola is giving your family the chance to win a trip to the happiest place on earth, Disney World, Orlando. Just buy any 8-pack of Coca-Cola or Sprite products at participating stores island-wide for your chance to make this summer even more magical. Imagine the laughter, the memories, the adventure, all with an ice-cold Coca-Cola in hand. Coca-Cola, real magic is just a sip away.
Hey Cayman parents, we get it. You're underslept, over-trafficked, you can barely find your sanity in the morning because you're still trying to find your kids' shoes and lunch boxes. Let Yum take some of the stress away. Every day, over 3,000 students enjoy delicious, nutritious meals from Yum. Over 5 million lunches served and counting. Private school parents? Browse the Yum Cayman app and order up to a month in advance or last minute by 12 a.m. the night before. Government school students? Just drop by the Yum canteen. No pre-orders needed. Yum can't help you find your sanity, but we can sure make your mornings just a bit easier. Check out daily menus at myschoolpos.com or visit yumcayman.ky to learn more.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We do have a caller on hold, so we're going straight to the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm fine. How art thou?
I'm good. OC, I'm no economist or anything like that, but all the development, OC, I'm stuck in traffic right now, and that's what concerns me why I called.
Mm-hmm.
All the development that we're doing, is that really, OC, in the best interest of this island? For example, the 10-story condos now that are being developed. What's really the beneficiary to the Cayman people of such a structure? Because I say that because I have a friend who I know managed the condo. I don't know whether it was a regulation or something within the tourist department where all the condos was managed by Caymanians.
Mm-hmm.
All condos were managed by Caymanians. That is no longer the case. I think it might be one lady left at the White Sand from West Bay, I believe. I'm not sure. But I have a friend who just told me that her position have become redundant now also, and that the owners, I guess, are managing, or they have like a board or something that manage online from overseas. So I'm wondering if that is to cook the books, because I think government income is whenever their condo is occupied.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is that, yeah, right. Is that, yeah. So now that all the Caymanians now is gone, they're now managing these structures from
overseas,
online. So what's really the benefit of us allowing these people to come here and build these humongous structures
mm-hmm.
that increase traffic,
mm-hmm.
waste, demand for energy from CUC, and everything else occupying our beaches or overflowing our beaches. So what is really the benefit of such structures that being developed on our island?
Good question.
Like going back to what Teacher Roy said, who are we developing for?
Yeah.
Because we'll see those people, those suitcase developers, I call them, that jump off the plane and do these developments, they don't concern if the person they sell the condo to take 2 hours to get to Foster's or 2 hours to get back to the airport. They're just looking at numbers. And the numbers they're also looking at is that they find out that we are a bunch of handkerchief donkeys that they can access for concession after they get here, where they already did their numbers and know how much it will cost to build this structure.
Their return on investment is very good and safe.
Very good.
And safe.
Because I wonder, Zosi, I think I asked you this before, who do the concession goes to this concession that we give them, that money then returns maybe to the developer's pocket or something?
I would say indirectly, because let's say, for instance, if the concessions are on import duties, right? So they don't pay the import duties. That means that there's more money in their pockets because they don't have to pay that out to government.
Yeah. They save that money. Actually save that money because they already did the numbers and know how much it would have cost them. Right? So we're losing all the way. So we don't even manage the condos no more.
And then
we don't even do that.
And then people are asking also, Lord Graham, with the Cayman Islands being such an attractive place, why is it that we have to give concessions to attract people here when they're wanting to come by the droves?
You got it. Also, we don't have to give concession. Every Tom, Dick, Harry, and his dog wants to be here. So the price of being here should actually go up. Just like how I think all these people that now here on work permit, they're bringing their little children here that blocking up their schools, where my son had to put his son on an
18-month waiting list.
Waiting list, and he got to pay $400 to go on the waiting list because it's such a big demand.
And it's non-refundable too.
Non-refundable plus they're bringing these kids. We should increase that to say, for you to bring your kid here, you have to be making at least $10,000 a month, and for every additional child, then it's $1,000.
And you know what
we got to do?
You know what the amount is now, Lord Graham? Do you know what the amount is now?
I think it was $3,500 for a long time.
$3,500 and $500 for each additional additional.
Come on, OC. Come on. And then now. Every soul I see now when I work with me, got baby holding in their hand up in the supermarket, and they don't look like us. They don't look like us. So their kid have to go to school somewhere, and now I think now that they have eased it up where the kid can also now go to government school.
Well, that has always
been... And
get
free lunch too. Oh, see, don't forget a free lunch.
Yeah. That has always been the case. If there's space available in government schools, they're allowed to go. But they pay a fee. Of course, it's nothing compared to what they would have to pay in private schools.
They got to say, if you want to bring your child here, your work permit not got nothing to do with your children. You leave your children over there with a granny or somebody. You come here, work, and you work for your 5 years. 5 years rollover policy, and you go for 2 years. If we think you can come back, you come back. But you leave your child over there.
Okay, Lord Graham, hopefully we'll see those changes that we were promised during the campaign period.
I got open line with you now. You ain't cut me off no more.
Okay, but we're going to make a hard break now. Talk to you later. Take care. And just want to quickly say that Mr. Lance Jefferson will be celebrating his birthday tomorrow, so we want to wish him a happy birthday in advance. And Miss Ruth James also wanted to send belated birthday greetings to her grandson.
Let's eat. Foster.
Caleb also. With that, we're going to go to our 8 o'clock news, folks. Please stay tuned. When we return, we will have the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Joey Hew, and Deputy Leader, Honorable Kenneth Bryan, in the studio with us. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Hungry? Let's eat. Foster's Bay Market Cafe is now in the Let's Eat app with a fiesta of bold Mexican. Build it your way with custom tacos, burritos, or nachos, loaded with all your fave toppings. Or go bold with the El Gran Cayman, big, spicy, and packed with flavor. Or savor El Pollo and Mas. flame-kissed and full of smoky goodness. Then end on a sweet note with a warm, crispy churro dipped in chocolate or caramel. This fiesta is fresh, fast, and full of flavor. What are you waiting for? Let's eat. Foster's, better flavors because we care.
The time by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. A Cayman Islands case involving a care worker fired for not getting a COVID vaccine appears to be heading to the Privy Council in the United Kingdom. In 2023, a Grand Court judge ruled in favor of the woman, saying her constitutional rights and freedoms were breached when her unfair dismissal case was rejected by the Department of Labor and Pensions. The DLP would not investigate the case as she was working for a registered charity at the time, and the Labor Act doesn't cover charitable organizations, with the Grand Court judge saying it's, quote, incompatible with the Bill of Rights. However, in its ruling in January 2024, the Cayman Islands Court of Appeal disagreed, ruling in favor of government and determining that the Bill of Rights does not protect workers excluded under the Labor Act. According to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council website, it appears the case has been appealed to the Privy Council in the United Kingdom, and a hearing has been scheduled for June 24th. The hunt is on for new firefighters. CIDTV's Levita Thompson reports.
The Cayman Islands Fire Service drew over 150 prospective firefighters to the first part of its Spring 2025 recruitment drive this past Saturday, May 17. Officers from domestic and aerodrome functions of the fire service were on hand to explain their job responsibilities and to provide overall background on the work of the fire service in the Cayman Islands. Job seekers in Cayman Brac are invited to come out Wednesday, May 21st to learn more about the sister island's role in the Cayman Islands Fire Service. The drive takes place from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Cayman Brac Fire Station, and applications are available online at careers.gov.ky.
And it's Cayman Art Week, and you're invited to get the full scoop tonight.
If you want to come and learn a little bit more about it, come to the launch event, which we're doing in collaboration with our partner, the National Gallery, and our patron, Susan Oldie, kicking off from 7 till 9 p.m. And it's across the National Gallery site. There are 3 exhibitions and probably about 100 artists on display, including the amazing time-back photographic archive of 60 years of Cayman's history. We're doing in collaboration with the Cayman Compass Archive. Those exhibitions are on for several months as well. So if you don't make it on Wednesday night, please come down. The gallery is always free admission to everybody.
Cayman Art Week founder Natalie Urquhart tells Radio Cayman you'll be able to get a map at tonight's launch party, learn more about participating venues, and even meet many of the local artists being featured at events across the islands. And if you missed tonight's party but still want to be in the know, no worries, just head to CaymanArtWeek.com. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Govinda Gill. Italian police have conducted a major sting operation against what's considered to be the most powerful of the Italian mafia clans. Almost 100 arrest warrants have been issued to suspected members of the 'Ndrangheta syndicate for crimes including drug trafficking, extortion and kidnapping. Spanish police are investigating the fatal shooting of a former Ukrainian politician in Madrid. The victim is said to be Andriy Portnov, a one-time advisor to the former Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych, who was removed from office in 2014 uprising. Health officials in Gaza say more than 40 people have been killed in overnight Israeli airstrikes. It follows 85 reported deaths on Tuesday as Israel continues its new offensive. Pope Leo has urged Israel to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza. The newly elected pontiff has made peace a theme of his papacy. South Africa's president meets Donald Trump later today after a breakdown in relations between Pretoria and Washington. The US has been angered by South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. Mr. Trump has cut all aid to South Africa. Tanzanians have been denied access to the social media platform X after a police account was hacked and used to announce the president's death. The Information Minister said the tax authority's YouTube account has also been compromised. Iranian state media say the country's parliament has ratified a 20-year strategic partnership treaty with Russia. Both countries are under heavy Western sanctions and have increasingly coordinated diplomatic and economic policies. Figures from India show the Asian lion population has increased by more than a third in 5 years, reflecting a successful conservation programme. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Biggest variety in the morning. RC Fusion.
Following the 10 a.m. news headline.
Brought to you by TCE Paint Shop, 27 Godfrey Nixon Way.
RC Fusion.
The Georgetown Farmers Market. It's time you start eating local. The market at the Cricket Grounds.
My Kinda Cleaners. Call or WhatsApp 326-3379 for your free quote today. Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transportation, and Development. Also brought to you by Rosanna Dixon Insurance. Protect your family with critical illness coverage. Call Rosanna Dixon at 547-0952.
Biggest variety in the morning.
Radio Cayman. The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Thank you so very much for staying tuned right here on Radio Cayman. It is 8:08 and it is now time for another weather update. Temperature is about 85 degrees Fahrenheit right now with relative humidity 83%. Pressure is 29.94 and rising with winds at 6 knots, flowing in an easterly direction. The synopsis today is calling for continued light winds and seas are expected across the Cayman area over the next few days in association with a weak pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Radar imagery shows isolated showers in and around Cayman, moving towards the northwest. Today you can expect mainly sunny skies becoming partly cloudy at times with a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will rise to the low 90s with a heat index near 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight with a wave height 1 to 3 feet. Tonight, we can expect mainly clear skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures are expected to fall to the lower 80s, and winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Going over to today's tides, you can expect a low at 11:23 a.m. This afternoon, a high at 5:46 p.m. and again a low at 11:42 p.m. Sunset today will be at 6:54 p.m. Of course, it's p.m., so of course it's tonight. And tomorrow you can expect a sunrise at 5:49 a.m. The outlook is for similar weather conditions through to Saturday morning. That is your weather update. This is Radio Cayman 89.9.
We were on the edge of a breakthrough. I knew the substance was extraterrestrial, but I didn't realize.
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long, the entire lab exploded, and the radioactive sludge went everywhere. I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks, but I was able to manage everything with the CG online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britgay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britgay, where people come first.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
That's a good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. Coming from the east on Shamrock Road and Rex Creighton Boulevard, flowing moderately. A different story on Crew Road as traffic is slow moving. Steady traffic on the West Bay Road and for the Ritz. And we understand there's been a 4-vehicle accident in the vicinity of the Island Heritage Roundabout. Might be causing some delays if you're coming from the West Bay area, so expect some delays. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is flowing moderately. And North Sound Road traffic is moderate in both directions. Steady traffic coming off the Estella Tibbetts Highway and continuing on to the Industrial Park area. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Brought to you by UHealth International, University of Miami Health System. International patients go to UHealth International for consultations with renowned physicians, advanced treatment technologies, leading-edge medical therapies, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures. Whatever your particular reason for going to UHealth International, you will receive customized medical care delivered within a compassionate, multicultural setting. The care you need when you need it.
My mom's a
superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As advertised, it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Joey Hew, and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Kenneth Bryan, in the studio with us. Gentlemen, good morning. I'll say welcome back to the Deputy Leader. He was here last week and the Leader was off island, so welcome to the Leader as well. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Ossie, and thank you for having us. It's good to be back. Been a while since we've been back on. We've been all busy a little bit. But yeah, good to be in with you this morning, and good morning to people of our three beautiful islands, and in particular, of course, the constituents of Georgetown North. Wishing you a pleasant day and a safe journey into work and back home this evening.
Good morning, OC. Good morning to your listening audience. It's a pleasure to be back. I'm glad to be in the studio to share the future of what we plan to do with the good listeners of Radio Cayman and to those who are listening online as well. Thank you.
Okay. One of the questions that we have in advance, and if you can incorporate that into your discussion, one listener remarked that, over the past 4 years, there were several private members' motions that had been accepted by the previous government, and while one government can't bind another one, whether which ones will be resurrected, which ones will you would seek to be moving forward as well in private members' motions that had been accepted by the last Parliament and government. If you could incorporate that into your discussion.
Certainly. We'll see, as you know, anything from the previous administration would kind of fall off, but that doesn't stop the current administration from moving forward if they think that those motions that were approved by Parliament is in the best interest of the country. And it also doesn't stop the official opposition from replacing those motions again on the floor of Parliament. Once after 6 months have passed, you can do the motion again, because sometimes motions are very timely. But to answer that question directly, we can't speak on behalf of the administration, but only pose questions, which we intend to do as soon as we find out the first sitting of Parliament. Unfortunately, the government hasn't said very much, but we have to give them enough time to settle themselves. But it's been 3 weeks now. I think the number one priority for us in the opposition and the members on the opposite side is when is the next sitting of Parliament, so we can deal with the people's business, particularly in light of comments that they've made about the government finances, government policy, to get some sort of steer and direction. So we're looking forward to that. But until then, we will continue to do what we're doing as a formal party in our structure and way to convince the public that we're there on their side, and we will continue to grow as a group.
What is a reasonable honeymoon period for any new government coming in?
I think, well, first of all, if it would be odd to see them bringing major legislation in the first sitting. I'm sure that there are reports and other things that are probably critical, some tidying up stuff. But I mean, first of all, any major legislation would require a 21-day notice. So you have to give a few weeks to get in there to understand what's happening, to see what's need to be done, and if there is any major changes, any legislation that needs to be brought. You're looking at least 21-day period. So 6 weeks, 8 weeks maybe, latest, I would think, is a honeymoon period or a period for them to get organized and get to Parliament. We obviously, as an opposition, not obviously, but as an opposition, you also tend to give a government a few months to start to hear what their plans are. The election cycle runs with the elections being around this time of the year, usually later on in May. Once you enter office, within a couple of months, you have to start working on your SPS, a strategic policy statement. Now, again, like I said, when we were, when you have for instance, a party with a published manifesto comes into office, the civil service can almost begin to work on your SPS immediately. In the situation where you have a major coalition, where you have 3 separate groups in this instance, they said that they were working. They went on a retreat, I think, or something. I read this where they were going to spend some time on a weekend, 2 weekends ago, putting together, I guess, is sort of manifesto or what their priorities would be. So if the civil service has that, they can start to put together the SPS, and then you start looking at the budget. How do you achieve these things? So what that's going to take up a lot of time in the government. The new standing orders for the Parliament blocks out the month of August. I think is it
July and August.
July and August. Of course, that they can waive that, but that's a new standard order, kind of blocks out July and August. Okay. So parliamentarians can plan family vacations and stuff like that. And you need that period of time too, because for the government, everybody in cabinet can't go on vacation at the same time. So you need that period, those weeks for people to spread their vacation out. And for us now, it's going to be, as we've been caucusing together as an opposition, discussing what we see the priorities are. Some of those haven't changed. We will certainly be making representation on those to the government and insist that we see those included in the SPS and in the forthcoming budget. So that's where we are now. And that's what we will continue to do as the official opposition. We are working closely. There's only one other member of the opposition, Mr. Saunders, so we do include him when, you would have seen during the committee or the appointment of members of the committee in the last sitting of the House, right. Where we've been, we consult and include Mr. Saunders, MP Saunders, as the only other member, which only makes sense because
will he caucus with you as well?
He does not caucus with us, but when it comes to appointment on committees and other issues, we confer with him as well. So we try to be as inclusive as possible. This is, the elections are over, OC, and so now we are looking at what is best for the country. And in the spirit of unity, we will always try to, you have that honeymoon period, as you call it, where you say, unless you see things that are blatantly wrong and just aren't right and aren't for the benefit of the country, we have to give the government some room, but we will be advocating to them and publicly what we feel should be done within this first quarter of their term.
We'll see if I can just further add to what the leader just said. I think that it's reasonable to expect that there will be a sitting before July, due to the fact that Parliament will not be able to sit until after the first week of September. As you heard the leader allude to, the new parliamentary standing orders say that the Parliament will not sit from the first week of July to the first week of September, which is a 2-month period. And to think that the election was on April the 30th and not have any parliamentary sittings until after the first week of September is a long span of time not hearing from the government in any capacity in Parliament, whether it be statements, Section 11.5s, Section 12s, reports, cleanup exercises, and so forth. So at the very least, I expect that they would have at least a 3-day session between now and the first week of July for summer. They have not indicated that, but if they don't, I would be really surprised, as they're not prioritizing the parliamentary proceedings. So I'm looking forward to seeing some sort of notification to opposition saying that Parliament will sit at the very least in June. Mr. Connor, today is mainly about what happens now in respect to the government as well as particularly with us. And we did a very good job, in my humble opinion, in the elections. We can see that there's still a strong support system for the People's Progressive Movement, so much so that we got the most members of any one organized group together. Obviously, it didn't stop the allowance within our constitution from coalitions forming. I hate to say it like this. I was just saying to a large group of people on Sunday that though we got the majority of members of the party, more than any other party, we still failed. Until we get at least 10 members of 19, which is the straight majority, then we have, in my humble opinion, come up short on convincing the masses. So in my mind, I think that we are going to be doing not only the exercise of responding from an official opposition, holding the government accountable in a professional and reasonable way, but learning and growing and understanding where we went wrong, understanding what is it, the focus, what is our brand, is it acceptable by the people across all three islands, and grow and improve. I think there's room for growth as a party and as a group of individuals. We know that there's a lot of strong persons out there who would love to put themselves up for office, and we want to start caucusing with them too. So if I can take this shameless plug, if there's people who believe the country needs stronger leadership, obviously we are, you heard the leader mention many times before, even before the election and during the election, that the intention is one day that the People's Progressive Movement will be running 19 members. And the feedback that we got is that, you don't want to wait till 3 months before election before you announce who those are. Also, people want to know who the individuals are, not just what they call Johnny-come-lately. Now, we all know each other, but we want to know them more intimately, being in the community. So it is our intention to work with others who want to be in this noble field and get their notoriety up and popularity, as well as their community work in the various constituencies at a higher level from early.
And what about those unsuccessful candidates in your party? So what are your plans for them?
The plan is to continue to keep them engaged, OC, and I think you would remember me coming in here prior to the election, pre-election, and talking about building the party for the future, and anticipating whether we win, lose, or draw, that the goal was to build the party for the future and for all three islands and every district in the island. So, we have our new executive. Now that the election is over, they'll be having their first meeting on June the 6th, their first formal meeting. We're excited about that. This is a completely new executive that was elected back in January at the conference.
Okay.
And a lot of new blood in there, representing, again, a diverse group of persons with different backgrounds and gender balance and youth, and some of the senior people are still there. So we're looking forward to that. We are focusing on developing our youth arm. Under our constitution, we have to have a youth arm. We also have to have a women's arm. And we have a couple of strong individuals who were unsuccessful as candidates, even know who they are, who are just eager to get going in that as well and continue to be involved at that level. We want to deepen our community engagement, do listening tours, not just in our constituencies, but in all constituencies or all districts of the Cayman Islands. And you would have heard, through this community outreach and engagement, you heard me talk about Cayman 4.0. We can come up with a different name, but, I always thought that the vision from our manifesto, that what we saw in the manifesto would be the foundation of a plan for the next 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, or whatever, similar to your Vision 2008. We just call it Cayman 4.0 for the reasons that, within the party. But, this is something we want to start developing over the next couple of years within the party as well. What is the vision of the party, the vision of the country, through doing these listening tours, doing these outreach and events within all of the districts in Cayman? what is the vision of the country for the next 20 years, next 30 years, and continue to document that and build on the manifesto that we currently have. So those are, of course, during that time, we want to continue to grow membership and of course, while growing membership, we want to, become as inclusive as you've heard me use this word so many times, as inclusive as we can throughout the 3 Cayman Islands.
Okay, with that, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, with the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Joey Hew, and Deputy Leader, Honorable Kenneth Bryan, will continue after this short commercial break.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, the Leader and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, People's Progressive Movement. Gentlemen, back over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, O.C. That's just outlined basically what an overarching view and on what the party will be doing. I am at this point, very excited about the future for the party. The candidates, the group that ran as a 13 over the last election are still unified. Everybody's eager to move things forward. We have fantastic plans. Again, like I said, we've brought in some new blood into the executive, and this is something that we're going to continue to do. We will ensure to have our regular conferences, have our regular meetings, have our district meetings, develop district councils. These are all plans that we are eager to get going with, and I think the future for the party, and ultimately it'll benefit the country, is bright. So back to the business of the day, we spoke earlier. We don't know what the sorry, Mr. Deputy, do you have anything to add on that?
No, just other than the fact that we're going to be heavily focused on the membership drive. The Progressives, when they started out, had a very, very solid, strong base of membership, which gives a direct link to its elected members to be able to view their voice in the community. And we have to improve on that. We haven't done a strong one over the years, and I think that that's probably one of the key areas that we would have to improve as a group, because we are representatives. We act on behalf of our constituents and our constituencies. And once we have a strong membership, we can have a strong reflection of what the people actually want. So you'll see us making some efforts in that area, Mr. Leader.
If I could, now there are some political pundits who, when they looked at all of the various manifestos during the election, similar issues, in some instances, similar solutions to those issues as well. So one would argue that when you look at one political party and you look at another, there is very little that differentiates them. How then will you make the People's Progressive Movement more attractive so that it doesn't look just like any other party when you bear in mind the number of eligible voters that we have, in the community. And then the other question would be, can you be a party member even if you're not eligible to vote?
That's interesting. That's an interesting. Your last comment there is an interesting one. I actually don't see there being an issue. I don't think you'd be able to be on the executive or any of the decision making arms of the party. But if you just want to support the party, then I absolutely don't see an issue with that. I wish more people that came to our country were more engaged and involved in understanding our country, understanding our culture, that sort of stuff. To answer your question about the parties, I think we are still waiting to see if there is going to be another party. Just from observation from the outside, or observing from the outside, I should say, it seems as if the Caymanians National Party and the Caymanian Community Party are continuing to operate as two separate parties and developing themselves, establishing themselves, I should say, as two separate parties. If that is going to be the case, and even if they were to come together as one, it would be for them to show that they are. What are the differences between them and a party that's been around for 24 years? And of course, being here for 24 years, and I think we could say that 12 years ago we saw a slight evolution of the party. And now 12 years later, I think you're going to see another evolution of the party. So we will continue to change and grow with the times. And I think that is one of the things that sets us apart from the new parties, the other two new parties, is that we have been established, we've been tried and proven. They will now have to try and establish themselves and show, what their policies are, what their abilities are, whilst being a part of a major coalition. So I think that's going to be rather difficult for them, but we shall see. But we will continue nonetheless. We're not, if the elections are over, we are focusing on the future, and our responsibility as official opposition will not be taken for granted. But at the same time, we are going to continue to build the party and build for the future of the party and the country.
Mr. Connor, if I can just quickly add some other points that we were hoping to let the public be aware of. As you heard us say in the last show, we're working hard in caucus to discuss the shadow ministers. And we hope that by next week, Wednesday, we can announce who they are as the leader is back now, and we can go through that in caucus later this week. But more importantly, a thank you party to our supporters. I think the progressive supporters over the campaign was obvious to be the largest of all groups thus far, and we want them to know that we love them, we appreciate them, and we're so grateful and thankful. I know that we haven't had something formal since the actual election itself. We're currently working on best dates that is accommodating everybody and locations. So in due course, I don't want persons to think that we haven't said anything or done anything since the election. We're just working on the best timing for that, and we'll make the announcement so we can have some enjoyment together. Not everything is politics; some things is just fellowship together, and we look forward to that. And a key stake will be in that is food. Good Cayman food and a lot of talking. So we'll let everybody know about that in due course. If I can, just before we move on to the other point, one of the key components that we will be trying to improve as a group, and I think it will improve our representation as a country and as well as a party, is being more quick with our reactions to the public's input and viewpoints on matters. And this is where advanced parties are now using technology and data collection to improve their representation. Particularly in such a small island like the Cayman Islands, we and a small population, we got to be more savvy with the way we represent. To think that almost 7 out of 10 people in the Cayman Islands has a smartphone, we got to be able to ask our supporters to be interactive with us, because more information we get back from them, the better we can know that we are actually representing the views of the people. Because if we were spot on in respect to what was important to the people, then we wouldn't be here as opposition today. So it proves that we need opportunity for improvement, and we're committed to that. And we want to use data collection, technology, interaction in the community, all of these various tools to help show that the People's Progressive Movement is going to be the party of the future. And I say party, but mainly the persons who you should select to represent you, and prove that a strong party, a unified, structured party is the best way to improve your life. So we're going to be doing a lot of that, self-reflection and self-improvement over the months.
Yeah, and you did raise an interesting question. You said you received a WhatsApp question online about the.
Yes. Should I read it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. The person says, "Morning. I have a question for the leader of the opposition. Do they have any indication when the current administration is to release their plans/manifesto? Mr. Andre Premier mentioned it was supposed to be released last Friday. The people just want to know what we should expect from the coalition for the next 4 years. Again, I know the opposition may not have the answer to this."
Yeah, I mentioned it early in the program. We don't have. I did see the article saying where they're going to get together and develop those plans and those priorities. So we are eagerly, as I spoke about earlier, we're eagerly looking forward to that. And I think it was on the reason I remembered you mentioned the WhatsApp was on the heels of the deputy's comments about an organized party, that persons know who they're voting for, what they're voting for, and what the plans for the country will be going forward. And also so you can keep a scorecard on that, because one of the things we joke about and talk about all the time within our group is that when we took office in 2013 and even in 2017, the press was 30-day report card, 90-day report card, 6-month report card, 1-year report card, because they had our manifesto and they were checking on these things. When we saw in the last 4 years, we never saw one single report card by any of the press. and I think that is because they did not have a benchmark to report on. And so I think this is important for the public to be able to analyze whether or not the government is doing what they actually said that they would do. In our manifesto, we actually said that we were going to publish our own report card. And I also believe the Chamber of Commerce also came out public saying that they're going to also. But without a manifesto, without a clearly properly outlined plan, how are you going to report on those objectives if you don't have them? So I think this is important for the country to know, and I think it should come out before the SPS, before the strategic policy statement, so persons can look at their plans and their priorities, and then look at the SPS and say, okay, this is the plans and priorities that they have published and said they're going to do, so they're not just talking politics, because now in their SPS they actually speak to these things. So I believe they should publish that before the SPS later on this summer.
Mr. Connor, I think it was important, as you recall, last week we went through the new first quarter report and its surprising announcement of a $54 million surplus than the projected. I think it's important that the public is aware that we will continue to monitor the financial situation, because the preview report, which was a main factor in the campaign, and I would definitely say affected the voters in one way, shape, or form, that we will continue to monitor what's happening with the government spending over the next year, because it's important that it's not perceived as if they were left in a situation of deficit. And I think it's incumbent upon the administration now, in light of the actuals for the first quarter, to state what the current projected position should be, or recalculation of that report. I can't force them to do so, but it's natural to assume that we are not going to be in a financial deficit unless they go off and do some severe spending outside of the norm for the next 8 months. So I would like to hear from them in that respect, rather than us having to put a formal parliamentary question, because most people are interested to hear that situation now, because obviously politics being what it is, I can safely see that come October, November, when the budget is formed and the projections for surplus or deficit, there will be suggestions that they were in some way, shape, or form the reason why we no longer have a projected deficit, and I don't think that would be a fair statement. So we'll be monitoring the financial situation throughout each quarter as we go forward.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a business that offers an authentic Caymanian product and service and shares the magic of these islands? With the Visitor Experience Development Grant, you could get up to $50,000 to bring your idea to life. From wellness to tech, cultural workshops to food experiences, the opportunity is yours. Applications open from April 15th to May 30th. Take the first step. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP today to find out more.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who are just joining us, may I remind you that we have in the studio with us the leader and deputy leader of the opposition, Honourable Kenneth Bryan and Honourable Hew in the studio with us this morning. And just to mention that also we, since the elections, no more paid appearances. We have gone back to our original schedule where Mondays reserved for government department, ministers, Wednesdays for the opposition, and Fridays for independent members. Now we have one independent member, Mr. Christopher Saunders for Bordentown West. I also want to say that people have been inquiring about those unsuccessful candidates and whether or not they have gone silent. And we will also have Fridays open for those persons who were unsuccessful but still want to talk about politics and want to talk about their plans to be able to appear on For the Record as well. So that invitation, that would be an open invitation for those who were former candidates who simply want to come on to talk about their plans, whether or not they're going to continue their activities. Many promised that even if they were unsuccessful, they would continue their activities in their communities. We're going to have an open space for them to be able to do that as well. Gentlemen, back over to you.
That's an interesting. Sorry, Mr. Deputy, just before you go. We obviously, as I said, we're going to keep our candidates involved. Of course, post-election, for those who are not successful, I think if people don't know, it's a huge commitment to decide to contest an election. And in our case, all of those candidates resigned from their jobs and put their lives on hold and dug into their savings to be able to sustain themselves for the couple months leading up to the elections. I heard some parties put people on salaries. I don't know if it's true or not, but we certainly weren't in a position to do that. And so now, we are working with our candidates and assisting wherever we can. But the focus now is for them to obviously find employment, get their lives back on track. But I can assure you that they are eager, once they get themselves resolved, eager to be more involved publicly as well.
Okay, great. Good to know.
Mr. Connor, obviously I support the leader in that position, and hence the reason for my call over the last 2 weeks for a reconsideration of approach, particularly when it comes to government, but also private sector, about these amazing people, these noble persons who've put themselves up for office. We have a culture here, unfortunately, that once you run for office, it's so difficult for you to be rehired.
If you're unsuccessful.
You're unsuccessful. And I think we should change that culture, and I think the civil service should lead that charge. You've heard me even say right here on the show that the person who ran against me, Mr. Anthony Ramon, I think he should be awarded the opportunity to go back to SEMA. We should not penalize our people after trying to do the most noble thing possible for them not to be able to get another job again. So I would love for the governor's office and the new government to inquire whether this could be a position that they can change in its culture, because I'm certain that the skill set that was necessary wasn't filled within 2 months. And vice versa. I know that there's a position out now for the talk show host that Mr. Sterling used to do, and I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be able to come back. But then that's my humble opinion. I think we need to change that culture. We're too small for that.
I agree.
Mr. Connor, there's one point that I think that I would like the government, I think they should have some sort of statement on this matter. I haven't seen one, if there has been one, but we know that the board for the National Conservation Council was before the courts, and recently, just early last week, the case came to an abrupt halt, stating, and again, I don't have any official statement from government, so I don't want to speak definitively, but basically the roundabout way is that the government has decided not to move forward with the case and have accepted the challenges to the decision by the previous cabinet to remove members of the National Conservation Council board, and then to pay their cost for their legal fees. I'm not sure what the reasoning was for the government to do this. I'm quite sure they have a reason. Is there going to be a press statement on this decision? As being one of the former ministers in that cabinet that took those decisions, obviously we didn't take the decisions lightly, and we had the benefit of having a good attorney general to guide us in our findings and our conclusion, and we made sure that everything that we did passed the attorney general's test in respect to saying that it was legally okay. So I'm interested to find out what the AG's viewpoint now on this decision, because the worst thing you can do is undermine the cabinet. The cabinet is the power of the people. And I personally am of the view that we should have allowed the courts the opportunity to flush out what was being questioned in that case.
Because you would have clarity then.
We would have clarity.
Yes, yeah.
So ultimately, I don't want to go any further on this because this is a very sensitive topic and one that I think we will be challenged with over the next 4 years, regardless of what your position is on this area. But without that clarity, at the very least, the public needs to know what is the government's reasoning for this position, and they've been very quiet. I think they should be making a statement or at least clarification to the media, if not to the opposition, because we have our authority through the parliament to ask those relevant questions. But I haven't heard anything.
And the mere fact that they gazetted the appointment of new members after that, you would have expected some statement to be made
Correct.
as to why that gazette, those new appointments took place as well.
It is interesting, and I think this quietness is quite eerie. I think they need to say something. I think the public is
transparency is important.
Transparency is important. You take a position, you have to be able to back it up and the reasons why. What you were saying is the last cabinet with the Attorney General present, and the Attorney General would not allow or would advise the governor that an action that is being taken is illegal. Mm-hmm. And I was there, so I know the Attorney General.
The AG has to defend you at the end of the day. His office has to defend you.
Correct. So what has changed? Because the narrative, and again, no way to concrete this because I haven't heard anything from the government, but they have accepted the cabinet acted wrong, and I refute that. But I think they need to, you can't respond to something that they haven't said. They just done an action with no explanation. So I'll leave it there because today is not just about that, but I think it's time for them to say something to it. Mr. Leader?
Yeah. No, thank you for that. OC, we are, again, eagerly looking forward to the government plans coming up. We obviously campaigned very heavily on some of the key issues and the ones that are affecting our people on a day-to-day basis. Those being cost of living, including health insurance and health care for our children, the cost of utilities, the fuel duties on utilities. These are all tough decisions the government will have to make. They'll have to, if they decide to reduce these burdens on our people, they will have to figure out a way to reduce spending in other areas. The National Development Plan, we can speak, everybody's talking about development. Everybody's talking about the beach erosion. Everybody's talking about rising sea levels, housing. All of these things start with the National Development Plan. So again, I think these are low-hanging fruit, things that really affect the average person's life, their day-to-day living. National Development Plan even affects the traffic. Because once you have a plan, then you can start to develop your road network, your public transportation, all these things around that plan. So, we are going to continue to advocate and push for these things, amongst others that we had in our manifesto. And we truly anticipate and hope that we will see the government include these in their SPS and in their upcoming budget. Because that is, at the end of the day, OC, everything we do, we have to ensure that it is sustainable, first and foremost, and also that it impacts those who need it the most. And at this point, our people are treading water. They're struggling to keep their head above water. And the government needs to find a way. I implore them, they have to find a way to reduce that stress, that burden. I know the deputy, throughout his campaign, always talked about the stress that his people are facing. Every speech, he focused on the stress that persons are facing. But the truth is that most people are treading water. People are one medical issue away from major financial issues. one water leak, one roof leak, one air condition. And this is no way for our people to live. And so, whilst we are continuing to grow our country, we have to ensure that we put policies in place that will assist those who are most vulnerable in particular, but our average Caymanian too. We cannot forget about them. And quite often, the quiet person in the middle is the one that's forgotten about the most. And those are the people that I'm most concerned about. We always talk about growing the middle class, and every country talks about it, but most countries fail at it. I think we are manageable enough as a population to grow that middle class.
Okay, folks, we're going to our headline news, top of the hour, 9 o'clock. When we return, For the Record, we'll continue with our discussion with the Deputy Leader and the Leader of the Opposition. Please stay tuned.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, no Cayman, and right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
As part of this year's Child Month activities, you're invited to a Protect Our Future workshop. It's taking place tonight at Seafarers Hall from 7 to 9 p.m. For more information, you can email dcfs@gov.ky. People in Gaza are telling the BBC the situation there is, quote, getting harder every day as global experts warn of an imminent famine in the territory. On Sunday, Israel eased an 11-week blockade, but the United Nations says its teams in Gaza have not yet been able to distribute aid despite dozens of supply trucks entering over the past 2 days. Israeli officials said 93 trucks entered Gaza on Tuesday, but a Gaza correspondent reports from Cairo, quote, the situation there remains catastrophic. A member of Benjamin Netanyahu's party tells the BBC Israel is trying to ensure Hamas does not steal aid and blames the group for preventing peace. Overnight, 15 people in Gaza were killed in Israeli airstrikes, according to the Hamas-run Civil Defense Service. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning the Leader and Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Of course, they are from the People's Progressive Movement, the Honourable Joey Hew and Honourable Kenneth Bryan. Gentlemen, the mic is yours.
Mr. Connor, before we continue, the hope and goal is for us. Unfortunately, we had to leave at 9:45. We have a meeting with the Honourable Speaker of Parliament at 10 o'clock, and he doesn't like anybody being late, so we're going to be there on time. But also to say that we'll take some calls around 9:15 and to give the listening audience an opportunity to ask us a question or have any concerns. Because we're just about to wrap up most of our thoughts, because we'll be back obviously next week Wednesday as well after our next caucus, which we want to focus heavily on our shadow ministers. I do think that there is something that I would also like to hear from the government, because it's continuing to be repeated. As much as I don't want to say this because it haunts me today, but the referendum outcomes are what they are. I think naturally everybody knows what this position is on the pier, but a lot of people have in the community have asked us the question about, okay, what about the other two questions now that people have come out in reasonable numbers to say yes, what is the government's position? And I can't speak to that. Neither of us can speak to that from our opposition perspective, because it was non-binding referendum. So what the government will take from that, I think the public wants to hear what is the government's intention in respect to the other two. So that's definitely a parliamentary question that will be coming. So giving them a heads up, I'm quite sure they have somebody monitoring the radio stations as to what we are saying. So you can prepare that will be something of interest. And I think I don't think you should wait for a parliamentary question to respond. I think naturally a government is obligated to, after such a significant event such as a referendum, to have a position publicly. And I'm assuming that they're preparing that. But just saying that that's a common thing that is coming up in conversations from the people in the public. Mr. Leader?
Yeah. No, so OC, just to go back to some of the other concerns or topics that we would like to see addressed during the campaign. An interesting one, and the news since that came to light for me in speaking with persons is the initial support for our arts, sports, and even academics. We as a country are quick to run down to the airport and hold up the Cayman Islands flag and wave it around after someone has achieved greatness in any of those areas. Where we are failing is in supporting those persons to get to that situation. This is all a part of building national pride, right? That is what building national pride is about. We're all very excited, and it is fantastic to see when a couple hundred people show up at the airport and we're all wearing Cayman Islands shirts and we're all waving the flag. But we can't get that many people out to the games. You know, we can't get the ministers, we can't get the financial support that's used to throw parties and celebrations for us after we've achieved these things. We can't get it beforehand to enable us to travel, to enable us to get the kind of coaching and support we need to be able to achieve it. We have seen Cayman athletes, for instance, achieving greatness across the spectrum, from swimming, obviously, with the Crooks siblings, and sadly to hear that Jordan is stepping away from competitive swimming. I'm not going to speculate there.
Right.
But, you know, he has accomplished so much already that there's nothing to hold against him for stepping away, because his name has been etched in our history books and in the world history books. But, you know, we've achieved greatness across the board, and we see track and field now. We have college students breaking records and making waves in the track and field arena across the U.S. and universities. I had a young lady who came home last year, who was an Olympic athlete for the Cayman Islands in Tokyo, who came home with a master's and was able to get an appointment with the minister but never heard another word back. She wanted to continue to compete but needed support. To add injury to insult, she couldn't get a job after that. I assisted. I sent it to government. I sent it to private sector, as many people as I could. And I believe she has returned back to the U.S. But this is the kind of support I'm talking about. You have someone who has managed to go through, get her 4-year degree, get her master's, all at the same time competing at the highest level We have to support those individuals. We have Caymanian golfers that, for our small population, are appearing on national television with millions and millions of viewers.
Masters.
and no Cayman Island sponsorship.
Nothing bigger than the Masters tournament in Augusta.
They would not be there over the last few years. They would not have been there unless the private sector stepped up. And most of them were on their way there or planning to go there and didn't even know how they were going to get there until the private sector was able to step up and put the funds in place. But in all these instances, when these people, young persons come home, and our weightlifters, our persons in arts, movie makers, that when they come home, we throw these big parties for them. We spare no expense at that point. I would like to see the focus placed on providing support for those, because not every athlete, not every artist, not every academic has the family support or the private sector support or the ability to go out and raise those funds to achieve their goals. And even those at the highest level, we see are not getting the sort of support they're supposed to get from the government. So can you imagine those who don't have that notoriety already, that are just trying to get there? And you know, it speaks volumes to the characters of the individual who defy all odds against them, don't have the kind of support like they would have from a country like Jamaica or Trinidad and Tobago or Barbados, where they take pride in pushing forward their arts and their athletes and their academics. You know, you got the Rhodes Scholars in Jamaica and these sorts of things. I mean, putting up billboards are nice, absolutely. But where are we really supporting these individuals and achieving their goals? And it's one of those things. I think it's important. We have many, many issues, and some may consider those issues to be far greater in need than to talk about this. But we actually have 3 ministries: Ministry of Sports, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Heritage. 3 ministries that we are paying millions and millions of dollars a year to operate. And so we need to ensure that they are spending that money in the place that it counts most. And I think this is all a part of, for me, I think it's first of all, it's empowering our young people to ensure that they get the support to go off and compete at the highest level, to perform at the highest level, to learn at the highest level, but to also ensure that when they get home, even if they do not win the greatest awards, if they don't win the gold, if they don't, get the Grammy or whatever it is, that we still support them when they come home. And I think it's something that we need to see a greater emphasis on and a more transparent and holistic approach to how we support our academia, our students, our athletes, and our artists. So it's just something that came up during our canvassing during the elections, that we do have so much talent in this country. In this little country, we have so much talent. I mean, every day you open a newspaper, if you Google or you look online, you see everything from persons winning Taekwondo to appearing on the grandest stage for golf, for track and field. We see people in the swimming pools. We see people appearing, and not only designers at the world's biggest fashion shows, but persons working within the production of these fashion shows. We have Caymanians now working for Formula One and working for large events around the world. That we need to celebrate these individuals, and we need to ensure that we support them, because it can only benefit the Cayman Islands. It can only benefit us.
Yep. And along that vein as well, I saw recently where in the United States, something like about 33% of the high school graduates will not go on to college. This year, they're seeing more and more students, graduates, taking up apprenticeships rather than deciding to go to a 4-year college. As far as education is concerned, here in the Cayman Islands, we keep hearing that we need more trade schools. We need more, and the argument against that sometimes is, yes, when we open them, then the Caymanians don't attend. There are always others wanting to attend, as well. Any ideas in relation to the approach that we should take from an educational standpoint, college education vis-a-vis apprenticeships?
Certainly. I feel very strong about that, OC, and I know that the deputy also spoke to it at length during his campaign meetings. When you have a situation where there are more jobs than Caymanians, one of the struggles you've heard me talk about before in supporting our Caymanian people is the lack of information about our people. But we know everything about every work permit holder, other than where they're actually working, because our enforcement, in my opinion, isn't strong enough. But when they fill out a work permit form, we know what they own, we know how much money they make, we know their blood type, we know what diseases they have, we know their address, we know everything about them. Versus we don't have Cayman. But the thing about that is then that we should be able to look at these work permits and say, okay, these are the areas that we believe, these are jobs that would be suited for Caymanians at a professional level, at a technical level, and this is where we should focus our enforcement. This is where we should focus our scholarships. I use a court reporter or stenographer as an example all the time, because I sat next to someone in a plane. I've told this story a million times, and it just, for me, it just sounds so simple that I don't know why we haven't been able to do this. But the lady told me that she had retired. She's from Florida. She had retired, got bored, went back to a junior college, a community college, did a 6 or 8 month course on court reporting, got headhunted by by a firm for a financial services case. As many people may not be aware of, Cayman, our courts host some of the largest financial services, shipping, aircraft cases that are international cases, and because of our treaties and our laws, the trials are here in Cayman, or the mitigation or whatever.
Arbitration.
Well, yeah. So she said to them jokingly, she was like, well, sure, I'll come, but you got to put me up at the Ritz, fly me business class, fly me back home business class so I can cook Thanksgiving for my family and then fly. And she didn't expect to get it, and she got it. And I said to myself, wow. And at that time, we were still sending our Hansards, which is crazy, but we were sending our Hansards overseas. And I was reading an article a few months ago that's one of the areas worldwide. No, not an article. I was listening to, I was reading an article on the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, and other Caribbean countries, other Caribbean islands and Commonwealth countries are having issues with finding companies to do their Hansards. So thankfully our parliament has now brought the Hansards in-house, but that just strengthens my position that when we look at things, that why aren't we saying, okay, here's something that, once that person has the ability to type and to spell, etc., then this is a perfect, we will give you a full ride, identify a program in the U.S. We give you a full ride, everything, no expenses to you to go and do this court reporting stenography course.
When I inquired about that, I think it's something like a 3-year course that you take. It's about 3 years for you to qualify for it. But
Well, this lady, maybe her previous qualifications allowed her to do this short form thing, short form. But the fact is that we know they're there. And to answer your question about the trade schools in our manifesto, and what we talked about was, I know from experience there are certain schools in the U.S. that persons, there's one that I can think of right away, that marine mechanics, right? Marine engineering. This is a school in Florida where you attend after you graduate. They actually provide you with you do the course first, and then you actually do the practical part of it. So you actually work there and get the practical experience you need. So instead of us trying to build and that is something that is needed in Cayman. We're surrounded by water. There are boats everywhere. Instead of us trying to build a marine engineering school, we work out a deal with that school or any school like that. We say, listen, we want to send our students to you. Please give us a set rate, and we work out a partnership. Mm-hmm. We did the same thing with Johnson & Wales many years ago. We got them to reduce the tuition for Caymanians so that we could cover them in the with the tourism scholarship added with the education scholarship. It was enough to cover them. I see that one of the private sectors doing it with Lynn University as well. But we need to identify in the technical areas, in particular technical and vocational areas, we need to identify. Instead of trying to build a school for every one of them, let's identify partners. You can't in the Caribbean, throughout the Caribbean, all the TVET schools are full, right? So, but in Florida, I'm sure we can find, in other places, we can find TVET schools that we can work out a deal with. And then, not only that, when we publish our scholarships, we say, listen, you can take your $30,000 and go do what you want to do. But we have this list of occupations that we know Caymanians are needed. And if you take the opportunity to do this, you get the full ride. To me, that is a better way to spend our money.
Okay. Let's remind our listening audience that the phone lines are open now as well. Or panelists, they have to leave at about 9:45. So if you want to call in, our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255, also 949-8037. 949-6990, and our WhatsApp number 925-3261. We can only accommodate one caller at a time on the WhatsApp number 925-3261.
OC, sorry, Mr. Deputy, I can hand over to you because I had this thing I wrote down. And then I underlined it, then I circled it, then I put asterisks right, and I don't want to forget it. I want to, because we always focus on the negative and stuff. I would like to congratulate Mr. Patrick Smith.
I shared that this morning.
You did, okay. I've been circling it, highlighting it, asterisks again. But yeah, that's a step in the right direction, and congratulations to Patrick.
And also Miss Martha Connolly on being the Employee of the Year, CIG.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's a communications
I missed that one, but yes,
manager.
I know Martha very well. So congratulations to them both.
We just got to be committed to our people. Our people do awesome things. It's just, not highlighted enough. So we support the government in taking a stronger position in respect to those types of approaches. What the leader just said isn't rocket science. It ain't hard. We just got to be committed to it. And we can't pretend like immigration and labor isn't intertwined in the education strategy. It has to go hand in hand. So I really do support the government in any effort to improve in this area, and the whole opposition will do everything they can to give them support, advice, support in the budget to make sure the approaches that we take are in the best interest of success for our Caymanian people in their economy. Mr. Connor, I know we're going to go to the calls because we're going to be leaving very soon, but I just want to say something personally for Georgetown Central. As you are aware, I got 750 votes in my constituency. 1,118 persons came out to vote. That was 346 people didn't vote for me. And I always like to self-reflect, and I need to know and understand, in order for me to improve myself, what happened, what went wrong. 346 people chose to select another person, 210 for one and 136 for the other. And part of my process of being the representative for Georgetown Central, I want to improve. I want to know, is there something I can do better for those persons who are not convinced that was the right choice. I want to first say thank you to the 750 people who did vote for me. I love you, I appreciate you, and I thank you for having your confidence in me. But in order for a leader to continue to improve, you need to self-reflect, and I need to reflect with those persons. So if there's anybody out there who's listening, who's from my constituency, who chose not to vote for me, I'm not offended by it. I just want to know how I can improve so I can ensure your support the next time, because I take true honor in representing your voice. And regardless if you voted for me or if you didn't vote, or if you didn't vote for me, my job is to represent you. But most importantly, I need to know what it takes to continue to have your support or get your support in the first place. There was a lot of new voters in my constituency. I want to get to know you more. I want to become your friend, not only your friend, but also your representative. So I want to put that out there for people of Georgetown Central. I am so committed to you, and I want to learn better ways to improve, and the best way to do that is doing it together. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if we have any calls.
So,
but,
no, I have a WhatsApp message. But
yes,
my question to you would be the mere fact that you, in this past election, there were 3 candidates for Georgetown Central, as opposed to the last one where I think it was just 2, a head-to-head contest. Don't you think that having a third candidate would sort of dilute your numbers to a certain extent, as well, simply because people had more options. So I wouldn't necessarily take it as a negative, even though you pointed out that the number of registered voters increased as well.
Yeah, well, I'm my own biggest critic, and I have no shame in that, because I think it's the only way for me to improve. It could have been one person who didn't vote for me. I want to know why. I want to know what it is that I need to improve. It's a different day. 4 years ago was a different time. Am I off the mark in what my people want me to represent them for? Am I missing something? And only by having the conversation and learning from them, because I truly believe in this principle. I do not want to be a politician. I want to be a representative. It's a person who acts on behalf of another. So obviously, in some capacity, 346 people thought that I wouldn't act in their best interest. 750 did. And I want to change that opinion. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to improve. I'm willing to understand. Maybe I'm getting something wrong. And that commitment to continuing to grow all the time is what I believe is a part of myself and my committed success, and I'm committed to that. So this is separate. This is me being selfish now for just Georgetown Central, and I'm committed to them, and I want them to know that my phone lines are always open. My office has been open now for the last 8, 9, 11 years. And it hasn't changed. My number hasn't changed, and I want to build stronger relationships with you. I don't have as much power as I used to. I definitely don't have the same amount of money as I did, but my heart is even stronger than it's ever built, and the bank account for my heart is fuller than ever. So again, 926-0005. That's my personal number. My office number is 936-4040. You can call my office anytime, or you can come to the office and set an appointment to sit with me, because we have a lot of growing to do together in Georgetown Central. So I'll leave it there.
Before we go to the commercial break, one of our listeners wrote and said, going and getting the education is not the issue. It is being paid fairly. They will pay a foreign worker more and give them perks, and they refuse to give a local. Then they go on to say that Barbados has excellent trade school. They say that their child is studying right now on a government scholarship and cannot get a placement for the summer. So with that, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The 24th Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts, Joy, is here. Presented by the New Self-Help Foundation, Sunday, June 29th at the Hawkwheel Theatre. Awesome performances by actress Caitlin Tyson, Erica Asai, Rico Rolando, Jade Dixon, Williams Quartet, Tequan Smith, UCCI Dance Company, Cayman Music School, Radiance Dance Studio, Centerpoint Dance Studio, John Gray Elite Strings, Lloyd Barker, Ola Jimmy LaPierre, and more. Tickets cost $15 CI prepaid and $20 at the gate, and available from the #1 shoe shop and Winner's Circle Sports. Talent Exposition of the Arts, Joy, hosted by Anika Connolly and Lloyd Barker. June 29th at the Hawkwheel Theatre. Gates open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. Part proceeds from this event to benefit the Foundation Educational Development Training Program of the Arts.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Attention, Boddentown residents. The Department of Environmental Health Boddentown Bulk Waste Collection will take place between May 19th to 24th. This bulk waste collection will replace the traditional year-end collection. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it's easily accessible to the DEH's collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct the roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction and demolition waste, hazardous materials, or electronics. For more information on the Boddentown Bulk Waste Collection from May 19th to 24th, please contact the DEH's Solid Waste Management Section at 949-6696.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I want to remind you that our panelists will be leaving at 9:45, 9:45, because they have a meeting that they have to go to, and we have a serious and strict speaker in our parliament, now as well.
I do apologize because I should have known better to do it at 10, knowing we were going to be in the show. I should have asked him for a 10:30 meeting. But hopefully, if he is listening, he can give us a little bit of a leeway in respect to this. But I'd rather to start off our relationship with this very capable. I want to congratulate him, by the way, the Honorable Ezra Miller. I couldn't think of a better speaker. His long service in Parliament, in his statements to the rule of democracy, particularly in the parliamentary setting and the former legislative setting, I think will bring a breath of fresh air to Parliament. So congratulations to him, and congratulations to the government for selecting him. He's definitely a person that I think is going to do well for Parliament. So that's why we had to leave early. But Mr. Connor, I was hoping that we would have gotten some calls, but maybe we're saying all the right things. But I want to remind the public that we'll be on the show every Wednesday while we're starting to formulate what the narrative is going to be and what the expectations are from us as a party over the next 4 years, if not earlier. And I only say that from the sense of, we don't know what will happen with the formulation of this coalition. We've seen the examples of what happened the last time. I'm not wishing that on this administration at all, because when the administration fails, so do we as the people. But we have to be prepared at any point as a opposition to be ready and waiting to assist the people of this country if that needs to be. So with that being said, I want to remind the public that we're going to be on the show every single Wednesday, and OC, we're here to interact with the public. Mr. Connor, I see that we've had some comments about the Cayman School.
Yes. Question. You can read it if you.
Yeah, I'll actually allow you to go about that. But I wanted to highlight from here that I understand that the Minister for Education is or has, I'm not sure if he's currently there, but has traveled to the BRAC or intended to travel to the BRAC. I'm not sure where he's at, so I don't want to misrepresent the truth in respect to inquiring about the school. I'm going to say this categorically today, that the decision the former Premier made in respect to the school is one that I supported, and I have no regrets in respect to that. Cayman is deserving just as much as any other constituency, district, island. The school has been, the old school that they're in has been there from 1960. From in the 60s, and I think we could quarrel about what kind of model you're going to use and all that, but there's no question as to whether Cayman needs a school. And the good people of Cayman upon which my mother's place of birth and my strong lineage, I know that they're deserving of that, and it's also a component for growth in the sister islands. We always talk about different strategies to improve Cayman and its economy. If we were to actually do any strategy at all for improving Cayman and we had, say, for example, decentralization strategy of moving work and jobs over to Cayman we wouldn't be able to do very much because the school space is very limited. So it gives us opportunities. I want us to start thinking about the school in Cayman as an opportunity to diversify Cayman but also improve their economy. And not only that, let's not forget the most important thing, a proper educational facility for the good Cayman children, which are Caymanian as well. And I hold no malice in respect to that. One day, maybe 10 years from now, quite like I recall when Sir Alden McLaughlin was building the first two schools, everybody was like, oh, why you spend this money and it's too big and too that. And now today we're bursting at the seams. Of course they're not. And every project will have its imperfections, but the need was obviously a foresight of the future. And nobody's complaining about the fact that we shouldn't build those schools today. And I think history will be kind to the former Premier Juliana O'Connor-Connolly for her foresight, and I intend to make sure that memory is never lost. We can argue and fight over how much it cost, and the cost is relative to the day and time and the contracting. I mean, it's not like she's out there building the school herself. You know what I'm saying? We got to understand there's a cost factor, the margins of what it would take to build a school in Cayman as opposed to Grand Cayman with the equipment and all these other factors. But let's not lose the fact that Cayman does need a school. One day it's gonna come up when, God forbid, a child was to get sick at that school because of asbestos. Then the people would say, why didn't they build a school from a long time ago? Anyway, I'm on a soapbox there because I think it's deserving that she be recognized for her efforts, and I support her wholeheartedly in respect to building the school. And I know one day history will be kind to her and her love and her commitment to Cayman particularly, but all of the Cayman Islands. So I'll leave it there.
So the question was, the person says, morning OC, can you please ask the two opposition members to confirm if Cayman School is in fact a high school, a tech school, and a nursing school all in one? If yes, I think it is much needed. as many graduate students can now travel overseas to advance their studies?
Since I was already on the topic, I guess I'll respond to that. I think the author of that comment is trying to justify the logic of the building of the school if it's multifaceted uses. But all of government school properties, ever since Sir Alden McLaughlin took the model that he did in transforming our educational system by way of infrastructure, has always been multi-use purposes. So the fact that, discussions about making it being a hurricane shelter location after core school options, having other training opportunities, is obvious that that's what it's going to be. So it's not only a school. To give you the specifics as to what the school would be used for, I think it is better appropriate that the minister responsible for education can outline what the project will entail. But by all means, it's not just a school. And I think in the long term, the good people of Cayman Brac and the Cayman Islands will benefit tremendously from the creation of that facility.
Okay. One other question that we have here. Well, this person said that they wanted to shout out Truman Bartle Law School, PPC class of 2025, who finished their final exams last Friday and are moving into articleship to become the next set of Caymanian attorneys. I want to give a shout out to them.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Which brings me to the question about certain jobs being specifically earmarked for Caymanians. We keep hearing the pros and cons about that. The whole question of articleship is a very contentious one.
Yes.
Because there are some companies who don't offer articleships, and there are some who offer, but there is no guarantee whatsoever that you're going to be employed by that company afterwards. Yet we see law firms applying for work permits, bringing people in who only have maximum 3 years PQE. And while some of the lawyers, you would expect that they would be the ones that would be advocating more, some are extremely quiet about it. But out there in the industry, there is concern about the whole issue of articleship and Caymanian trained attorneys, especially those who, have their local law degrees, even though it's through, university in the United Kingdom, having challenges and difficulties.
Well, Mr. Connor, in the interest of time, I obviously would want my leader to have last words in respect to this, and we're going to wrap up now. But I'll quickly say this. I am eagerly and patiently waiting to see what the government's position is going to be on this very important topic called immigration and labor. It affects our lives one way, shape, or form for every Caymanian. It will affect the future development of our society, what Cayman looks like, and the economic opportunities by way of jobs for our people. It's a very difficult balance to create in an economy where you have more jobs than you have Caymanians and we depend on outside labor. So the government doesn't have an easy task before them. I'm going to say to you that I'm going to stay committed to a mature approach in respect to trying to find that right balance, because we all admit that the balance isn't right now. But you have given the country a commitment to reform, to have a better balance that protects and gives opportunity for Caymanians and protects our long-term heritage of who we are as a people. So all eyes are on you now, particularly the new minister, the elected member for Prospect, as a brand new member of parliament and a brand new minister, has taken on a significant role on behalf of the Caymanian people. And we are going to be here in a respectful, supportive nature because we want him to win. But we will be holding you accountable because this subject area affects our people so significantly. So I'll leave it there. And thank you for allowing me to be on the show.
Sure. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you, O.C. Well, again, it all comes down to waiting to see what their plans are and what their combined manifesto looks like. But certainly there are a lot of questions to be answered, and there are persons within those groups, within those two parties, the two main parties there that operated at the highest level in the financial services, and they should have a good understanding of what's happening there. OC, just to wind up, I want to go back to saying that we are still here. We are going to continue to grow the party. We will continue to develop our youth arm, or start a youth arm, or a women's arm. We will deepen our community engagement through things like listening tours and district meetings. We will continue our vision for what the Caymanians looks like for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And if anyone would like to get involved, they can email us at info@ppm.ky or go to our website, theprogressives.ky, and they can contact us through there as well. The phone number for the headquarters is 945-1776. And, you'll see a lot more coming from us in the public domain about what we're doing as a party and as advocates within our communities.
Okay. Gentlemen, I want to thank you again for making yourselves available. And as we pointed out, that you will be here every Wednesday. I think there will be probably one deviation from that. I think it's, is it the 4th of June?
For the King's birthday.
I believe. There was one date on a Wednesday where we're going to, I had booked hazard
and we can announce that next Wednesday before we have another Wednesday before that.
But other than that, it's going to be regularly on Wednesdays as well. Folks, we're going to take our last commercial break. Again, we want to thank our two guests in the studio this morning. When we return, we will have open line for you for the rest of the time as well, and I will share with you the article about Miss Martha Connolly, who is the Cayman Islands Government 2024 Employee of the Year. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Attention all residents of East End and surrounding areas. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman PACE Committee invites you to their Health Educational Evening on Wednesday, May 21st at the East End United Church starting at 6:30 p.m. Guest speakers are Dr. David and Dr. Mobeen from Grand Harbor Medical, who will be discussing colon and prostate cancer diagnosis, treatment and prevention, and Dr. Sidney Ebanks, who will speak about hypertension and diabetes. Men, come on out and get your PSA test done for free. Remember, early detection saves lives. Refreshments will be served.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. Less than 11 minutes to go in the show. We do have a response, actually, to guests. The Deputy Leader of the Opposition received a response in relation to the school in the BRAC, the question that we had as to whether or not it was a high school, technical, nursing school, vocational school. So we have been informed that it is a smaller version of the John Gray High School with similar curriculum offerings. But when completed, it will leave some parts of the old school to be used as the UCCI campus with specialization, but not limited to vocational and technical hospitality and nursing school, marine biology. Goes on to say the new school has tech and vocational as well as years through 11. So that's for the new school. So that's a response to the question that was raised there. So let's look at our Cayman Islands Government Employee of the Year for 2024. It said Martha Connolly, Communications Manager in the Ministry of Border Control, Labor and Culture, has been named the Cayman Islands Government 2024 Employee of the Year. Chief Officer for the portfolio of the Civil Service, Ms. Gloria McPhail-Nixon, made the announcement on Thursday, the 15th of May during the annual Cayman Islands Government Employee of the Year award ceremony held at the Kimpton Seafire Resort. Deputy Governor Honorable France Manderson selected Connolly as the top awardee under the Deputy Governor's Award Program. She was drawn from the pool of 12 employees of the month for 2024, also chosen by him from across the civil service. Before revealing the Employee of the Year, Chief Officer McPhail-Nixon hinted, this individual understands in an information age our ability to communicate is going to be the deciding point of whether or not we will be able to deliver for our societies, giving them information that they need to stay safe and to be informed. And in the sensitive topic that we have to discuss, making sure that we also do not create an international incident because of the way we talk about our very sensitive issues. Prior to her selection as Employee of the Month, Connolly had received a Chief Officer's Choice Award, which highlighted that, and I quote, Martha is the driving force behind the Ministry of Border Control, Labor and Culture's powerful public presence. Her leadership has been especially vital in navigating the sensitive issue of irregular migrant arrivals. Through proactive messaging and emphatic engagement, Martha has prevented crises, fostered respectful dialogue, and strengthened public trust. Her work does not just inform, it inspires. Martha is a standout communicator, a steady hand in turbulent times, and a true champion of the ministry's mission. In her acceptance speech, Connolly expressed gratitude for the recognition and is quoted as saying, "Thank you to my ministry team and its leadership under Chief Officer Wesley Howell." She added, "To be recognized as Employee of the Year for 2024 is an honor of a lifetime. Civil servants, let us keep striving for excellence in everything we do and continue to serve with heart as we work together to become a world-class civil service." Addressing the 12 finalists ahead of the announcement, the Deputy Governor expressed great pleasure to be at what he dubbed the Civil Service Oscars, to recognize outstanding civil servants. He's quoted as saying, "Please be proud of what you have achieved. You have served with distinction. You have risked your life. You have done everything that we asked of you and more, and you have done it with passion, integrity, and professionalism." Another highlight of the ceremony was the announcement of the coveted Moment of Magic Team Award, which was presented to the Department of Counseling Services. The ceremony also showcased 57 individuals who, along with the Employees of the Month, received Chief Officers' Choice Awards under the DG's Award Program during the year. Joining in the celebration of civil servants was Her Excellency the Governor, Jane Owen. Similarly, government ministers led by Premier Honorable Andre Ebanks demonstrated their support for the civil service. The Premier underscored the importance of the work of the civil servants and reinforced the impact on the community. Special guests at the event were Royal Cayman Islands Police Service Captain Darren McLean and his wife. Captain McLean recently returned home as the first Caymanian police helicopter pilot. The award okay. We do have a caller, so let's grab the caller before we go off air. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Connor.
Good morning, good morning.
I was chiming into the show. I wanted to make a comment on the where you talked about the law school.
Mm-hmm.
First, I want to say congratulations to the graduates, and that's a really big feat. And I don't know how much of those were actual, Caymanians, but nevertheless, it's good. I realized our guests didn't really respond to, in a manner of speaking, directly to your comment.
Caller, you're coming in a little bit muffled. If you're on the speakerphone, you may want to come off it, possibly.
No, I'm not.
Not? Okay. Continue.
Right. I was just saying that I realized our guests didn't really directly respond to your comment, but in a manner of speaking, I understand. Why it wasn't directly responded to. But I will say this: I know you're aware that I was advocating. I had a legal talk show, and I was advocating for Caymanians to get into the law school, the legal field. I do know there are a lot of scholarships and so forth out there, but I don't think that the scholarships are to the magnitude that they need to be to allow students, especially Caymanian students, to study law. And in terms of, not giving Caymanians opportunities with articleships and so forth, I know personally that is a major, major concern among Caymanians and a discouragement of them getting into the legal field. One discouragement, I would say, but a huge one. Also, not having some Caymanians want to get into the paralegal field first to get a field of law. And we no longer have a paralegal program on island. I was advocating for that too at UCCI, where they used to have a similar program, and perhaps at the law school. But the feedback was they weren't making any headways with that. And so there are a bunch of different factors why this could be happening to our Caymanians. But I do agree the primary factor is, as you say, some companies are not offering Caymanians the opportunities, while other, I like to use the word immigrants. It sounds more politically correct to me, but they're getting more opportunities than Caymanians, and I don't know.
Caller, we're going to have a hard break in about 30 seconds. So
yes. So I just want to wrap it up just to kind of give that little feedback there. I know you, and I'm not sure if you'll be on for the afternoon break with the other show. So I want
Mr. Glidden will be on, but
right.
Yep.
So I'll leave you with that. That was my feedback for that.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Folks, I want to thank all of you who tuned in this morning, those of you who participated as well. Join Mr. Charles Glidden at 12:15 for Talk Today. Friday, I will be on For the Record, and we're working on having former Member of Parliament, former Minister, Mr. Arden McLean, in the studio with us on For the Record on Friday morning. Have a great day, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful,
For the
wonderful...
Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum.